Today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of a photo shoot with my senior dog Deni, who is turning 17 next week. I wanted to capture something timeless, something that captures who he truly is. Gentle, wise, still curious about the world, even though, bless him, he is nearly blind. In this video I'm going to share with you the story, the gears, the settings I used, and giving you some tips on how to photograph your own senior dog at home in natural light, and also how to achieve window reflections. Deni being 17 is a massive milestone in itself and something that makes me incredibly happy that he is still here. He has been part of so many chapters of my life, and really he is the main reason why I got into pet photography in the first place. For many years he has been my main model. We would go outside and practice different type of compositions and styles together. But now that he's older and slower, I don't really want to ask too much of him, and I want to respect his pace. So this image wasn't about orchestrating anything, it was more about observing and waiting. I wanted to create something nostalgic. I wanted to use warmth and stillness. This is something that I intentionally built into the colors that I used and how I framed the shot. If you are interested in how to use color to create mood in your images, I actually made a whole video about that, which I will link here and also in the description below. So for the concept, at first my idea is to create a close-up portrait of his face and focus on his eyes that are now cloudy with cataracts. He often likes to sit by the window. I thought I could use that to capture his reflection as well and create a quiet, intimate moment. I was inspired by this image from Ivona Podlasinska. I will show it here. I love its nostalgic mood and lighting. But as I started shooting, I started to experiment with wider frames as well, with a more storytelling feel. I have a frame portrait of him that I had taken many years ago, so I placed that in the background as a note to his younger self. I used natural light for this shoot. I positioned him next to a wall of windows, which is where he usually likes to sit and look out in the garden. It took a bit of planning because it was actually a sunny day, and in the early morning hours, our kitchen gets quite a lot of light. So I had to wait until the sun moves to the other side of the house so the light would be soft. Soft light is so important, especially with white dogs like Deni, where a harsh sunlight can easily blow out the highlights. Behind him there was a dark fence, which was a perfect setup to frame his face, give a bit of a contrast. And the light was a soft side light, which I have to say is not ideal when photographing white dogs. It's usually not the most flattering light on them, though as the light was soft, it worked well enough to bring out emotion and depth, which is what I prioritized in this shot. One of the things I wanted to play with in this image was reflection and capture that ghostly twin of Deni in the glass. If you wanted to capture a reflection like this in your own photos, here are a few simple tips that help me. Shoot from an angle. Get close to the window and position yourself slightly to the side to catch the reflection clearly. Use a dark or contrasty background. This helps the reflection stand out and avoids blending into the background. Work with soft, indirect light. Direct sun can blow out detail and make reflections harder to control. Clean the glass. Reflections are only as clear as the surface. A quick wipe makes a big difference. When photographing senior dogs, it's really about meeting them where they are with patience. So here is a few things to consider and try. Keeping them comfortable. Choose poses that they naturally like to settle into. Sitting down or laying down is the best. Photograph them in a familiar space. Being in a space that they know and love helps them naturally be calmer and more relaxed. Help guide their attention gently. To grab their attention, you can use high-pitched sounds like a squeaky ball or there are different phones for this, different apps for this on your phone that you can download for free, where you can select from different sounds like puppy sounds or fox sounds, and basically you can find anything that your dog would react to. At some point in this photo shoot, I asked my husband to gently knock on the door so then he would lift his head up. Don't rush into the shoot. Observe first, let them settle, watch the light and the mood. Which leads me to my next tip is test your setup with a stand-in. When I was preparing for this photo shoot for Deni, I used a white soft toy that I positioned in the frame where I wanted to capture Deni, which helped me adjust like anything I wanted in the background or in the composition, and also allowed me to prepare my camera settings without disturbing him. In terms of lens, I used my Canon 50mm lens for this, and I initially wanted to shoot with the widest aperture I have, but I soon realized that it was blurring the reflection a bit too much, so I adjusted it a bit higher, so I used 3.2, which gave me a good balance between focus and mood. I shot this image from the side, which made it a bit tricky to maintain focus on Deni's eyes, especially as he was like shifting his head a bit, and I also noticed some motion blur keeping in, so I bumped up the shutter speed to 500, which helped me keep the focus. I set the ISO for 100, and I prefer to underexpose a little bit when photographing a white dog to ensure I avoid blown out highlights. That's why I also didn't use the auto settings of ISO, because I wanted to have a better control over exposure. This is the one I chose in the end. In the edit, I focused on deepening the colors and giving the image a nostalgic feel through soft, warm color grading. I use my favorite glow effect, steps as well. If you'd like to learn about them, check out this video here or in the description box below. And this is the end of this video. I hope it inspired you and gave you some useful tips on how to photograph your pooch at home. If you have a senior dog or any dogs really, I would love to hear about them, how old they are and what they mean to you. Deni's been with me for so many seasons of life, and this photo was a way of honoring that. Leave me a comment and tell me about your dog. I would love to hear your stories as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.